Assalamu alaikum and good evening. You are watching HumSub.TV and I am Munib Hamid with the news. Nawaz Sharif appears before Accountability Court as trial resumes. Ousted Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, his daughter Maryam Nawaz and son-in-law retired Captain Muhammad Safdar appeared before an accountability court in Islamabad on Wednesday as trial resumed into the corruption references filed against them by the National Accountability Bureau. A number of senior PMLN leaders were present at the court to welcome Sharif at the court. Accountability Judge Muhammad Bashir had last week granted Sharif a 7-day exemption from personal appearance, while his daughter Maryam was exempted for a month. However, the duo appeared before the court today due to a change in their plans. The exemption was granted on the grounds that both wanted to see the ailing Kulsum Nawaz, who is undergoing treatment in the UK, as well as security reasons. Army Major martyred during operation against terrorists in D.I. Khan. A 28-year-old major of the Pakistan Army was martyred on Wednesday in an exchange of fire with terrorists in Dera Ismail Khan, said a statement issued by the Inter-Services Public Relations. Major Ishaq was killed while security forces were conducting a search operation on presence of terrorists in a hideout in D.I. Khan's Kulati area. Read the statement posted by Director General ISPR Major General Asif Ghafoor on Twitter. 16 foreigners recovered in operation by security forces in Turbat. Security forces conducted an intelligence-based operation at a terrorist hideout in Balochistan's Turbat Tehsil on Tuesday, recovering 18 hostages, most of whom are foreigners. According to a press release issued by Inter-Services Public Relations, at least 18 hostages, including 2 Pakistanis and 16 foreigners, Nigerian and Yemeni nationals, were recovered during the operations conducted by Frontier Corps Balochistan in Turbat's Tamp area. 2 suspected militants were arrested during the operations conducted under Operation Raddul Fasad. Supreme Court accepts all 9 petitions challenging Elections Act 2017, asked to set date for hearing. Chief Justice of Pakistan Saqib Nisar on Wednesday removed objections by the Supreme Court Registrar on petitions challenging the Election Act 2017 and directed a hearing to be scheduled. The CJP was hearing the in-chamber appeal on 9 petitions filed by the PPP, Sheikh Rashid, Jamshed Dasti and others. The opposition political parties are challenging sections of the Elections Act 2017, which paved way for former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif to retake his position as the PMLN president following disqualification in the Panama Papers case. China reiterates support for Pakistan in execution of CPEC. China has reiterated support for Pakistan in the execution of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor and expressed the hope that acceptance of multi-billion-dollar communications, transport and infrastructure project by regional countries would grow. China is confident in working with Pakistan to ensure the sound development of CPEC and uphold the economic and trade cooperation between the 2 countries, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lu Kang said in Beijing. These comments were shared by the Chinese embassy in Islamabad with the local media on Tuesday. Islamabad sit-in has cost police rupees 120 million so far. The ongoing protest by religious parties has cost the capital city's police department over rupees 120 million so far, and the bill is only expected to rise as the issue drags on further. Sources told that Islamabad police has been delaying payment to vendors for various services provided to the force, as well as for the facilities provided to reserve personnel called in from the Frontier Constabulary and Punjab Constabulary. But even though police officers have repeatedly raised the issue with their superiors, insiders say that the Finance Ministry has not released a single penny so far. Pakistan calls for a negotiated end to Afghan war, said Ambassador Maliha Lodhi. Pakistan has called for a negotiated end to the Afghan war, claiming that neither side could impose a military solution on the other. Neither the coalition and Kabul nor the Afghan Taliban can impose a military solution on each other, said Pakistan's permanent representative to the United Nations, Maliha Lodhi, while speaking at a debate in the UN General Assembly on the situation in Afghanistan. arguing against the decision to continue to resort to military force in Afghanistan. She said that 16 years of war waged by the world's most powerful forces had not secured a military solution. The promotion of a political settlement and the pursuit of a military solution in Afghanistan are mutually incompatible. State Department officials accuse Tillerson of violating law on child soldiers. A group of 12 U.S. State Department officials have taken the unusual step of formally accusing Secretary of State Rex Tillerson for violating a federal law designed to stop foreign militaries from enlisting child soldiers. According to internal government documents, a confidential State Department dissent memo not previously reported said Tillerson breached the Child Soldiers Prevention Act when he decided in June to exclude Iraq, Myanmar and Afghanistan from a U.S. list of offenders in the use of child soldiers. This was despite the department publicly acknowledging that children were being conscripted in those countries. Mugabe gives up after 37 years in power. Robert Mugabe resigned as Zimbabwe's president on Tuesday, a week after the army and his former political allies moved against him, ending 4 decades of rule by a man who turned from independence hero to archetypical strongman. The 93-year-old had clung on for a week after an army takeover and expulsion from his own ruling ZANU-PF party, but resigned shortly after Parliament began an impeachment process seen as the only legal way to force him out. While celebrations broke out at a joint sitting of Parliament when Speaker Jacob Mudenda announced Mugabe's resignation and suspended the impeachment procedure, people danced and car horns blared on the streets of Harare at news that the era of Mugabe, who led Zimbabwe since independence in 1980, was finally over. Rouhani declares end of IS. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani declared the end of the militant Islamic State IS group on Tuesday, while a senior military commander thanked the thousands of martyrs killed in operations organized by Iran to defeat the militant group in Syria and Iraq. Today, with God's guidance and the resistance of people in the region, we can say that this evil has either been lifted from the head of the people or has been reduced. Revolutionary Guards also said Islamic State had been defeated in a message sent on Tuesday to Iran's supreme leader. After a prolonged stay in Saudi, Hariri back in Lebanon following shock resignation. Lebanon's Prime Minister Saad Hariri returned to his home country late Tuesday on the eve of Independence Day and after a nearly 3-week absence dominated by his surprise resignation. Hariri stepped down from his post in a television address on November 4 from Saudi Arabia and then remained in Riyadh, where he spent 2 weeks before making brief trips to Abu Dhabi, Paris and Cairo. His plane touched down at Beirut International Airport shortly before midnight. His resignation shocked Lebanese, but Hariri's prolonged stay in Saudi proved even more mysterious for many and sparked a litany of accusations that he was being held hostage there. Hariri had promised he would return to Lebanon in time to mark its 47th Independence Day on Wednesday and would clarify his position there. New U.S. sanctions on North Korea ships Chinese traders. United States on Tuesday unveiled new sanctions targeting North Korean shipping and Chinese traders doing business with Pyongyang, again raising the pressure on the pariah state to abandon its nuclear program. The measures came a day after President Donald Trump declared North Korea a state sponsor of terrorism, a spot on a U.S. blacklist Pyongyang had shed nearly a decade ago. These designations include companies that have engaged in trade with North Korea, cumulatively worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Sports. FIFA panels ban 3 disgraced officials for life. FIFA's ethics watchdogs have banned for life 3 former officials who pleaded guilty in American courts to accepting bribes as part of efforts to address widespread corruption in the sport, the World Football Governing Body said on Tuesday. They include former FIFA Audit Committee member Richard Lay of Guam, who testified in federal court that the source of his bribe money was Olympic power broker Sheikh Ahmed Al Fahd Al Sabah of Kuwait. Weather. Mainly cold and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country. However, partly cloudy weather is expected at isolated places in Balochistan. That's all for now. For more news and updates, keep watching HumSub.TV. Take care.
subscribe for HumSub TV and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates from our channel. Please like HumSub TV to get the latest updates from our channel.